making breakfast doesn't have to be that hard. What I mean by that is that I'm not talking about going and eating like Eggo waffles and putting like those little pancakes that you put in your toaster and put some maple syrup on it and eat it. I'm talking about like an actual well-rounded breakfast that's going to be very nutritious, that's going to give you all the energy that you're going to need to start your morning, to start your day, and something that's going to potentially keep you going up until lunchtime. So guys, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a quick and easy way for you to make some breakfast for yourself when you wake up in the morning. So some of this stuff can be actually prepared beforehand, so you don't actually have to do it in the morning, and you can do it a little bit before and kind of keep some in the fridge in a reserve, so when you do wake up in the morning, you don't have to do it. But obviously, I just woke up maybe an hour or two ago. I'm pretty hungry and I didn't have any of this stuff prepared, and I told myself, hey, why not just go and show you guys how to do the recipe from scratch, and then it'll be up to you to decide and if you want to if you want to do it from scratch in the morning, or if you would want to keep some of the stuff and kind of prep it in advance the night before, so when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to take that much time.
All right, guys, so to start things off, we're gonna start by rehydrating the chipotle peppers. Now, I actually just bought these at a local depanneur, like fruit store. They actually just had them. You can also buy the adobo chipotle peppers, the ones that are soaked in in a can. You can use those as well. There's nothing that's too wrong with that. I'm essentially going to start by getting my eggs ready. As you guys can see, I'm just getting all the eggs that I'm going to need to either for the wrap and also for the mayo that I'm going to be making. If you don't know how to make fresh mayo, it's pretty simple. All you're going to need is some eggs, and then you're going to need, obviously, you're going to season it with some salt and pepper. If you want to do a different type of aioli and stuff, you can use different stuff. But obviously, I'm just going to be kind of making it a simple mayo with neutral oil. From there, I kind of wanted to, spice mine up a little bit. So I'm adding a little bit of lemon zest to mine. You really don't have to. It's a little touch that I like to do for myself. But obviously, if you're making a very traditional mayonnaise, I probably wouldn't do this. Just because depending on what you're making, you might not want that lemon flavor in it. But I personally kind of wanted it. I felt like it made it a little fresher, a little nicer. And I put some lemon juice in there. I don't know why I actually decided to blend it here. I just wasn't too confident with using my NutriBullet to actually do this, so I just put little quick bullets. But honestly, you could probably just put the oil in right away and just go for it. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference by blending it before. So I would just recommend using it all in one shot if you can. Saves you a little bit of time and makes things a little bit easier. Just check the consistency to see what you want for your mayo. Obviously, specific recipes will have a specific consistency, but I kind of just eyeballed it and I just kind of went with how I wanted it to be. If you want it to be a little thicker, just keep adding a little bit more oil, and that's kind of what you're gonna do. As soon as after around 15-30 minutes, these chipotles are going to be rehydrated. I just decided to take them out of a bowl and put them into a separate container. I add a little bit of sour cream to this as well to kind of make this chipotle aioli, I guess you could call it. And what's super nice about this is that if you actually make this recipe, you could actually keep it in your fridge for at least a week, maybe even a little bit more than a week. And because of that, you can essentially just use it all week long for different recipes. And yeah, I prefer doing this rather than just doing a small bit just for one recipe, and then you just have it there for the whole week. It makes your life so much easier and saves you so much more time. Obviously, a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of lime zest as well, kind of give it a little extra kick. I definitely like using zest in sauces. I think it just helps a lot. And now here, like I said, I didn't really have an actual flat out recipe that I used. You can search it up online and I might have it in the description of the video. But essentially, I just added I felt like I added too many chipotles to my liking, and I feel like I needed to cut it down a little bit because it was a little too powerful. So I just added a little bit more sour cream and a little bit more mayo to kind of balance it out, and ended up getting it to the way that I wanted to. A thing that I like to do as well, guys, is to actually label and name these. When you start making a lot of these, you're gonna have trouble remembering what some of them might be, and especially the dates. There's a lot of times when you just see it and you're like, oh, when did I make this? And you think it's fine, and it keeps going past due, and you really don't want that for yourself. You really want to just, see what date it was. You see about a week, you're like, hey, maybe I should start to use it up or get rid of it. For this wrap, I'm going to be using some turkey bacon. Feel free to use whatever bacon you want. If you don't want to use bacon, you don't have to use bacon. Honestly, this wrap is just supposed to be kind of like an overall thing that you can make. This is the one that I made for myself. This is the one that I like eating, using things that I like eating. Feel free to put whatever you want in it. But I think turkey bacon goes really nice. It's a nice little addition to get some protein in the morning. Very low calorie as well, low fat content in it compared to traditional bacon. Less calories, less fat. I think it's just a no-brainer to go for that instead. For our eggs, I'm actually going to just dice up a Spanish onion. You can really use kind of whatever onion you want, but I feel like using like a red onion for this might be a little too jarring, just because red onions tend to have like a lot of bite to them, if you know what I mean. Like just a taste behind them is a little sharper, it's a little bit more rough. So I feel like a Spanish onion or like a white onion is a little bit sweeter, a little bit milder, and you won't get like a very oniony taste, I guess, when you're going to be eating it compared to like a red onion. Even though I really love red onions, I just think for this dish, using like a Spanish onion or a white onion is going to be better. We're just going to saute those real quick. I just use a non-stick. You can really use whatever you want to saute them. Obviously, a saute pan will probably do it faster, but I was also just going to decide to just cook the eggs with them. So using a stainless steel and having to add like a lot of extra oil, you can actually skip that completely just by using a non-stick. You can use less fat to help, you know, with like the sticking on your actual skillet. And basically to finish it off, salt and pepper. Really simple recipe, guys. This is something that you can really make in the morning. You can make the eggs even advanced the day before as well. If you want, you can even saute a bunch of the onions, so you don't have to do that in the morning if you just want to cook your eggs. And obviously for like a nice wrap, you definitely want to try to add in some vegetables in there as well. Not only is it going to be good, you know, get some vitamins, minerals, nutrients in there, but also helps with like the crunch factor and the texture. Something that's really important about food is texture, making sure that you're not just kind of having like the same texture throughout the whole thing. Just makes the whole process a little bit more satisfying and more enjoyable overall when you have different textures in your food. You know, you're not just chewing something that's kind of sloppy and mushy. You have something that's a little crunchy in there, and just having like these different layers throughout the whole thing is just going to make it so much better. What I like to do as well is like I also like to make myself like a little kind of guacamole, where it's more like an avocado spread, but it's close to being a guacamole, but I don't think it's actually like considered to be like a traditional guacamole, where all I do is I take the avocados and I make a spread with it with some garlic, salt, pepper, a little bit of lime juice, and I put that in, like, you can blend it, but I prefer using a mortar and pestle for it. And then I like to use that as like a secondary sauce potentially, or like even as a main sauce for it. And kind of mixing both of them together definitely just gives you a lot of different like complexities within the wrap itself. Here I messed up, guys. When I bought these wraps, in my head they were like the big ones, like the really big ones. So like my stupid ass, when I'm making this thing, I just overload it with a bunch of stuff thinking it's gonna fit, and it doesn't fit because obviously they're not the super big ones. And I don't know why my stubborn ass just decided to just keep going anyways and committing to it, saying that it was going to be fine. But as you guys can clearly see, it's not fine. It doesn't fit. So then I ended up taking it and just scraping everything off and putting it onto another one, but that's fine. Going on over here, guys, we're gonna be making the smoothie, and this is actually one of my this is one that I kind of came up with not too long ago. It's actually just like a strawberry banana smoothie, and I like to use a little bit of maca powder and a little bit of peanut butter to try to add a little other kind of like layers, kind of like a PB&J banana smoothie. I think it's really good. I'm personally using oat milk. You can use almond milk, you can use regular milk, and I'm gonna be using lactose-free yogurt. You can use honestly whatever you want. If you're trying to get some more protein, you can get some yogurt that has more protein in it as well. I kind of just got what was on sale because sometimes this stuff can be kind of expensive, and when you're going to be using it almost every other day, sometimes saving those extra bucks can kind of go a long way. What I like to do is for my smoothies, guys, is I try not to use too much frozen fruit. Now, the reason for that is because, one, you'll go through it really quickly. It's a lot of sugar that you might not want, and it's gonna make the smoothie a lot thicker than you might want it to be. I like my smoothies to be not too thick. I like them to be kind of on like the wetter side, I guess, but still kind of cold, like chilled. So like that's why I love personally using frozen fruit still, and also just keeping frozen fruit is a lot easier than using fresh fruit. There's nothing wrong with fresh fruit whatsoever. It's just I find it just so much easier to use frozen fruit, and you just blend it all together, and it makes a super easy smoothie for you to have. And that's really it, guys. It's really simple. If you really like do this stuff properly. You can make this super simply in the morning. It's super easy for you. Like as you guys can see, the smoothie is 300 calories and the wrap is 500 calories. And you might be thinking to yourself like, dude, 800 calories for breakfast? I mean, normally breakfast is about 600 calories, but this can also keep going up until lunchtime. Like this will keep you going till lunchtime, and it's going to help you feel satiated the whole way through.